Hi everybody, I'm Skagi,
And I'm Stevie.
And I'm Magna.
and we welcome you to yet another Tea and Tarot video podcast thing for February 2026.
Yay.
And we invite you to join us right here at Books, Beans, and Candles in Birmingham, Alabama for our in-person event on the first Friday night of each month at 6 o'clock. And this is the second of our monthly videos, and where we're going to talk about a spread this evening. We also have some other interactive events that you may enjoy. The third Friday night of each month at 6 o'clock is Sips and Stars. It's an interactive astrology event. And the fourth Monday at 6 o'clock is Magic City Pagans. That's a different discussion group each month. And coming up at the end of March, the 27th, 28th, and 29th, we're going to have a special guest,
Christopher Penzak.
He'll be joining us again. He likes to come hang out with us. I think he likes us. And we're doing he's doing 3 lectures.
3 lectures, yeah.
So Friday night is potions.
Yep, the art of potion making from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that's a $75 class. Saturday the 28th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for $125 is curse breaking, which I'm really excited for that one. And then Sunday the 29th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for $125 is evocation and invocation of spirits. So really excited to see Christopher again, and his lectures are totally worth it, I promise.
And so that third lecture is about summoning drinks.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be amazing? I hope so.
That means a different kind of spirit.
Yeah.
Azeroth, fetch me my gin.
So tonight we're going to talk about a spread. This is for February, right? So obviously about romance and love.
Yeah!
No.
No?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
No. This one is about Groundhog Day. But not that Groundhog Day. Not the American holiday. But instead the movie.
Oh,
yay,
that's what I
Bill
was really
Murray.
excited about. Okay.
So and if you're not familiar with the film, it is a little bit dated, but it's a really good film. But Bill Murray's character gets caught in this repetitive loop where he repeats the same day over and over and over. And finally at the end he learns whatever lesson it was he was supposed to learn, and he's able to step out of that repetitive loop.
The time loop. It's Tuesday, Sam.
And lots of TV shows have done that whole Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah.
Star Trek did it.
Mm.
Supernatural did it. There's some others.
Oh, I'm sure there are hundreds.
But I've had folks, clients and just people, why does this keep happening to me?
Well.
So why do you keep touching the hot stove eye and wondering why burns happen?
And that's because sometimes we do fall into patterns, and when we fall into those patterns, we end up in a repetitive kind of thing. Why does this thing keep happening to me? So this Groundhog Day spread helps us take a look at where we might be blocked, what might be tripping us up, the thing that keeps happening, and what our pattern might be to help us understand why we keep falling into this same hole, and some advice on getting out of it and what it might look like when we're done. So for this, I'm using the Hush Tarot. And this is a little 5-card spread. And I need to change the screen so that people can see the cards.
Golf claps for Scotch.
I'm no good at the multitasking. Cards, get over there. Ooh,
Oh.
that's a fun card.
You have spooky goblin in your future.
Yes.
Hey, look.
Hey.
It's
I
your
see
boy.
the moon sees me.
Alrighty. And this deck by MJ Cullinane uses a lot of critter imagery, and it's got a very fey kind of vibe to it. And so we're starting off in the who we are and where we are, and I can't read it from that far away. It's the Hierophant reversed. All right, so the Hierophant reversed in this case is, where am I starting?
Discombobulated.
Standing in line at the DMV. But we have these critters, and there's this sort of shield symbol kind of thing that's broken, so it's almost like it's like tradition itself is cracked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so starting off, we're already in this weird kind of topsy-turvy, restrained, constricted kind of place, and the birds kind of being around and stuff, it adds a little bit of chaos to that.
The tried and truisms ain't really functioning anymore. So having to figure out, well, now what, by your own like volition and by your own discipline even, it's kind of a whole big new thing.
Yeah, with the Hierophant reverse, it feels very much to me like, hey, you play life a little too loosey-goosey. Maybe you actually need some structure in your life.
No.
Just a little bit as a treat.
Yeah.
And the block itself is temperance, which is strange.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
And so we have this sort of fey lady and this sort of mask kind of thing going on, and maybe one of the birds that was from over here has come over here to yell, because birds do that. They scream at you.
That's my mask. I don't know you.
And in this case, temperance often has that sense of bringing things into balance, or a sort of transformational kind of aspect. But as a block, right? It almost is. Sometimes we try to hold on to things so tightly that we actually lose control of them.
Yeah.
And so the block itself may be that sort of.
Those tried and truisms that are not working, you're like, but if I hold on tighter, they'll work. That'll fix it.
Well, change is scary, and
Change is
nobody
scary.
likes change, but it's the only constant thing we have in life.
So the pattern that leads to that kind of stuff, and here we have our King of Cups, right? And he's got a sort of dusky kind of clay-like kind of vibe, and what's in his cup is sort of it's flowing out of the cup. And so the pattern itself may be, if we think of the kings the way that I do, as sort of an earthy kind of vibe, trying to control that emotional stuff too much.
Yeah.
Even to the point that, like, not that your feelings aren't important, but treating your feelings or kind of that emotional response you might have to that off-balance situation as, like, the most important thing, instead of being practical and pragmatic, like maybe you think you are. It's more of that kind of ruled by the emotion and, like, my feelings matter here the most, and not being like, well, the IRS is coming for their money because you didn't pay your taxes, so jot that down kind of vibe. Like, no, you can't really will certain things into being. Sometimes it
Yes,
just
I can.
is Godspeed.
But we have a very there's chaos and there's balance and there's almost constraint that's playing into all of this kind of stuff. And if we look at that as the pattern, it's hold on real tight, everything falls apart. Try to bring it back together, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
And so that very much has that sort of Groundhog Day kind of loop kind of feel to it. And this card here is the advice, the insight, something that might help us step outside this pattern. And we have the Moon card.
Shadow work.
Shadow
Shadow
work,
work,
therapy,
look-
do your thing.
Yeah, looking inside, and kind of taking a deep look at things.
I think especially to me anyway, like the reversed kings can have a very sort of like false authority kind of vibe sometimes. Like, not that you're not capable, but you're not capable in the way that you think you need to be, want to be, whatever. And so having those two kind of ping-ponging with that King of Cups and that Moon card, where it's like, my emotions are the most important, and then it's the Moon card being like, but you haven't actually looked at all of your emotions, babe. And being much more informed of kind of what's going on internally, as opposed to the facade or kind of the outpouring of the loud emotions with
Mhm.
that King of Cups.
And one thing that this is something that I experienced earlier in my life, and I found it difficult to stare at myself in the mirror, to look in my own eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in this moon card, it very much has that when you gaze into the abyss gazes into you vibe. And sometimes that's what we need,
Yeah.
is to feel that sense of discomfort.
Yeah.
I like to give that abyssal eye a little mascara. Just make it look a little prettier.
So if we use this and we look inside and we actually analyze the stuff instead of just kind of hanging on to our own emotional things, and maybe we step outside of that sort of pattern of disillusion, attempted control, constraint, disillusion, and we end up with
The Queen of Wands or the Queen of Swords?
that's the Queen of Swords.
Yeah. This one, to me, always has really strong Morrigan vibes.
She does.
Especially in this
Especially in this
card.
deck, but like this one hits to me like that aspect of like sovereignty and of kind of mental clarity and fortitude, kind of embodied in a lot of like the tales of the Morrigan, which makes sense contextually in this reading. You know, you had your come to Jesus shadow work moment, and now you have, I think, a much more well set idea of what these things actually look like, and a much more concise idea.
Well, and it's almost like the lady here and the lady here, and they both have their crow masks. It very much has that a transformation, which is one of the things we're after in the Temperance card. But in this case, it's an internal transformation that brings us to a sense of power. And with the Queens, I find them to be very, very watery side of thing, but that swords aspect. So we're bringing into a balance, both mind and heart.
Yeah.
I kind of like this spread,
Yeah, I think it's fun.
even if I did do it. Any other insights?
The only other idea that I have specifically is with that King of Cups card. Because, like, it also has very much like a pentacle sort of feel to it, because there is a thing going on in the world around us. So the king has very tenderly used his emotional grapevines to produce this wine. You're like, why don't you like the wine? Isn't it really good?
Like my wine.
Which feels very, like, emotionally manipulative a little bit.
Yeah. And two, I think the kind of, and this spread, right, the internal transformation of like the Hierophant, be it upright or reversed, the Hierophant has such like an institutional, very sort of like rigid, dogmatic flavor to how it gets power, right, or the power it possesses, to something like the Queen of Swords, but especially with the Morrigan flavor a little bit of this card, where it is much more of like an understood authority a little bit. There, I don't need institutions, I am the baddie, like there's not like that question, there's not really that like reaching outward for that assurance a little bit. It's a much more self-contained, yeah, I can do that.
Some of the most powerful people I know, in power in the sense of presence and self-determination. Some of the strongest people I know, they just are.
Yeah.
They don't have to announce it. You know it when they walk in the room. And I think that flows over here. And I think a lot of times too, for this pattern here, a lot of times when we feel that things are slipping from us, when we feel that things are starting to fall apart, we struggle even harder to hold them together. And sometimes what we need to do is to just fall apart a little bit, take a look at what's inside, and then find our strength within that.
Right.
Cool. Good times.
Yeah. All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. So we're so glad that you took some time to be with us today, and we hope to see you in person right here at Books, Beans, and Candles in Birmingham, Alabama on the first Friday night of each month at 6 o'clock for our in-person tea and tarot event. Check us out on the social medias. You can go to our website and get more information about the upcoming classes with Christopher Penzak. You can even buy your tickets there.
Yes, you can buy tickets in person or online on our website.
And,
Or you
Of
can
the
give us a
internet.
call. And we take payments over the phone too.
and you mean people actually use their phone as a phone sometimes?
I know. It's crazy.
Thank y'all so much. Hope to see y'all soon. My name's Skagi.
And I'm Stevie.
And I'm Magna.
Safe journeys, y'all.